Davey! He couldn't make it 3 wins out of 3 at Firhill, but he got a point. Welcome back to Fog Football. Partick Thistle 1, Livingston 1. It's a match that has pretty big ramifications at the top of this league. I was thinking of a word there to use, but that's it. Davy Martindale. I feel like we need to stop Livi at all costs. I think we're all in the get Falkirk or Ayr United promoted camp, even though I like Davy Martindale, but here, reality is I'd rather something fresh, something new. And something new we saw in this game, where the assistant got wiped out by a Partick Thistle man. There was a bit of a push, I can't remember who it was, but he got fired into the assistant and he went flying. I mean, the commentary and everyone found it a wee bit funny, but then weirdly, folks, right, there was a minute's applause by the home support in the 9th minute, and this was due to Chris Doolan, who obviously got sacked. And the reason he did this in the 9th minute was because obviously that's the number he wore for the club, and it was the first game at Firhill since his dismissal earlier this month. So again, wee bit weird. When you actually think of it, that not a bit weird. I mean, obviously Partick Thistle. I mean, he's massive for Partick Thistle, Chris Doolan, right? I mean, that's not deniable. You can't deny it. But just weird to see, isn't it, really? But obviously Mark Wilson and Brian Graham are the two leading Partick Thistle. But I tell you what, Brian Graham, Mark Wilson's leading them off the pitch, but Brian Graham's leading them on the pitch because he's the one that got the opening goal in the 25th minute. I thought it was a brilliant cross for Chalmers. And I tell you what, it was two really similar goals in this game. Very good assist for Chalmers, and Brian Graham just poaching at the back. Well, I say poaching at the back post. He has to make the run. He scores it. It's a good finish in the end. I mean, Livi try and huff and puff their way into this game, but Partick did really well. But they did begin to tire themselves out as we go into the second half. There's a corner whipped in. Brian Graham gets his head on it. He flicks it narrowly. Goes wide. It could have been 2-0. That would put the game out of sight for me. Then Livingston had an effort. Stevie May has an effort that just flicks wide, and you're thinking, right, Livi, they're looking for it. Then we have a complete and utter mix-up at the back. So Brian Graham gets a ball fizzed into him. I believe it was from Chalmers again. But then Livi, the goalie goes for it as the defender goes for it, and there's just like an absolute cluster at the back. No one knows what's going on. Livi are hanging on here. The ropes are being absolutely pelted, right? Absolutely battered. And then what happens is Livi then just get like a host of corners after this. Corner, boom, deflection. They're hanging on. But then Big Kelly whips a ball into the box, and Robbie Muirhead with a header. Really poor defending from Partick Thistle. I mean, the guy's got the headband wrapped around him, like, but you'd expect a wee bit more. Goes into the back of the net, one each. Both teams are going for it. Partick Thistle were blowing out their arse. I thought they played really well, to be honest, because I think most people expect a Livi win tonight. I know I did. A few chances here and there. 5 minutes added on. It ended up going to about 97, just over 97. But it ended up one each, guys, at Firhill. And I tell you, the ramifications that it has for the league table is massive, because it puts Livi equal points as Falkirk, but 2 games extra played, so that's massive. Obviously, Livi getting their games in hand. I'll say playing the games extra because they're still in the cup, of course. They play with St Johnstone in a couple of weeks' time. I think it's next weekend. Yeah, I know the jokes. Your club ain't there. I know they're not, right? I know they're not. That's plenty. But Livi, I said if they won their 3 games in a row, they'd win the league. They've picked up 7 out of 9. Falkirk have got the easier running. I think it is Falkirk's to lose. I mean, if Falkirk win both games in hand, right, that puts them 6 points clear of Livi, right? But if Ayr win their 2 games in hand, they'd be 5 points behind Falkirk. So, best case for Falkirk, they're 5 and 6 points clear. Worst case, they're a point behind Ayr if they lose their 2 games in hand. So, yeah, looking good for Falkirk. I expect them to win their games in hand, but some hungry teams taking them on you. You've got the likes of Airdrie, whose game in hand comes against Falkirk. They've turned into, they've beat Rafe. They've won a lot of games recently. Airdrie are looking to stay up. They're only 7 points behind Dunfermline. 1 point. They were about 1 million points behind. So they'll be looking to win. And it's just a very competitive league. But a lot of Falkirk's games, there's a lot of There's a lot of games, man. You know, the tough games they tend to be at home, and the lesser teams they're playing like twice, which is obviously going to come in handy at the end of the season. But you need to win all your games because Ayr, though, they've picked up 1 point at the last six. Is that the blip? Has the balloon burst for Scott Brown? We'll have to wait and see. We'll discuss it a wee bit more in the future. But leave your thoughts down below. One each at Firhill. Decent game. Love a Scottish Championship game on a Friday night. It gets the plums pumping. Till then, though, peace.